Welcome back, folks, to the Tuesday edition of the Three-Man Weave College Basketball Show presented by SBR.com. Matt Cox, that is me. I am the host. To my right, Ky. To my left, Jim. We are in the belly of the beast. Championship week is upon us. A lot of fun action last night, even more percolating in the hopper for this evening, setting the tone for the rest of the week. Ky, I'm going to you first. What did you learn from last night's subtly small but fun slate?
Matt, we're going to talk about Appalachian State because they are the epitome of the magic of March. 4 wins in 4 days, 2 overtime games, a rotation of basically 5 guys, came into the tournament 1-6 in their last 7, beat the 3 best teams in the league. Yes, that is the story. That is incredible. That is the magic of March. Dustin Kearns, we always expected he might be magical after his Presbyterian days, Jim. He confirmed that he is indeed magical. He is a wizard. Appalachian State in the dance.
Yeah, what a run. It's just incredible. They basically had 3 guards all catch fire yesterday, and that was enough. What a performance. My takeaway, guys, we talked about we didn't know how St. Mary's would stay close to Gonzaga, and yeah, the Zags were motivated. It feels a little, Matt, like Winthrop in the Big South tournament, yes, where they got bored towards the end of the year, but now it's back to motivation time, and they just ran away from St. Mary's right away. We're up 18 at halftime. The Zags can ball, Matthew.
Yeah, I felt bad for St. Mary's, and that was my takeaway from that particular game. It just seems like that season's been
get more
sort of
talent,
disarray. And yeah, in that matchup, it's just like you're basically trying to drag out the game as slow as possible, but the Zags still put up, 50 in the first half. That team's good, and we've known that. My takeaway, 2 matchups last night that I think we can learn something from going forward. Oakland, Northern Kentucky, and Elon versus Northeastern. 2 situations where
Drexel,
those sets,
right?
Drexel, excuse me. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, we were both.
No, they did play Northeastern. Drexel's tonight. We will talk about that.
Elon played
Elon's Hofstra.
Elon Hofstra. Oh wow, I'm getting all my colonial teams messed up here. 2 matchups where the both teams had not seen each other in the regular season. I think that lended itself to some matchup advantages for the team that played more unorthodox or more unique in style. Elon with their offensive small ball lineup. They have a very intricate system that just basically eviscerated Hofstra's downy soft zone. And I think on the other side, you saw Oakland's really weird, amorphous, chameleon-esque zone really bothered Northern Kentucky, and that really kept the Norse from getting any sort of offensive rhythm. You'll see a few situations like that, tonight, tomorrow. We'll try and point those out, but keep an eye on those. In the weird COVID year, schedule has basically, in these situations where teams have just not seen each other this season. So very interesting spot, presents some value for backers. Before we get to the outline, first, got to plug our fine overlords at sportsbookreview.com, sbrodds.com. Make sure you have that page open at all times. Line value, line shopping is key, especially with the conference tournament futures. Just crazy variance in some of these prices that we might hit on some of those. sbrpicks.com, plenty of expert breakdown, content, picks, you name it, they have it. The link so conveniently provided above our beautiful faces here. Let's start off with championship week banter. We're going to try and highlight most of those today. There are a few sort of off the reservoir ACC games I don't care about, to be perfectly honest. But tonight we start with the NEC Championship, Mount St. Mary's against our Bryant Bulldogs. The key headline here, Jim, Bryant, after being down 2 key starters last game, will be at full strength tonight. Incredibly impressive effort, demolishing Sacred Heart out of his shutdown. And Jim doing it in a slower paced game, which is sort of that style that we don't like to see Bryant play, where they like to get up and down and play that ping pong pace, but they were just as dominant, down 2 starters and playing the opposing team's tempo.
Yeah, they scored 1.44 points per possession. That's insane. And they only hit 7 threes. It's not like they were just a completely unsustainably hot from downtown. They were 75% inside the arc. It was really eye-opening. But, Matt, this is one that you mentioned. The 2 teams have not seen each other. Mount St. Mary's plays some tricky zones. Bryant could be, a little out of sorts against that early on. I worry, I said this about Gonzaga, I worry this is a little bit like that too with Winthrop, where Bryant is just the better team and can run away in this one. But there is some intriguing tempo matchup here with Bryant, 14th in the country, Mount is 356th. So it's going to be a little bit of a tempo war. Ky, how do you see this one playing out?
Jim, the tempo is what I'm counting on. The Mount is my best bet at +7 if you can get it. I know it's 6.5 some places. Give me 7 if you will, Jim. I'd be so kind. Not a sexy team, Mount St. Mary's at all. they win ugly. They're the second slowest team in the country behind Virginia. They're going to try to slow this game down to a crawl, disrupt Bryant's up and down offensive attack. They're very good at guarding the three, number one in the league in taking away the three, huge against Bryant. But the concern is Mount St. Mary's crashes the glass hard on offense. That leaves them susceptible to transition. Bryant could definitely kill them there. I'm hoping at least the Mount is smart, keeps us 1.5 court, keeps the possessions low. If they do, 7's just too much. I hope Bryant wins, Max. I love Bryant overall as a team, but I think Mount St. Mary's can cover 7 here. Best bet.
Love it. I'm waving the Bulldog flag just as an outright rooting interest, Ky. Not rooting into your best bet, of course. Would never imagine doing such a terrible, terrible deed. Just two extreme stylistic clashes here. That's what really is headlines this matchup. Mount St. Mary's basically plays 3 big guys, and Bryant is pretty much 4 guards at all times around Hal, Elias, their monster shot blocker inside. Rooting for Bryant to win, obviously rooting for Ky to get his cover. I do think that has some value now against the early steam. Started at 4.5, now it's up to 7. So Ky coming in with the right counter punch at the right time. All right, next up here, Colonial Championship, as I messed up in the opening intro here. Drexel versus Elon. Can't get my head around who actually plays in this conference at this point now. But the Phoenix have been on fire so far. Drexel as well, but I think what the Phoenix have done, looking to basically pull off the App State special, winning 4 games in 4 days. Another team that came out of a COVID shutdown, wiped the rust away pretty quickly, and have been a well-oiled machine. However, I will say that they have picked off some favorable matchups here, Ky, to get to this point. Do you think there's any sort of comeback down-to-earth moment here for the Phoenix, or do you think they ride this wave all the way to its title?
I'm kind of riding the hot team here. 7 straight wins. They've jumped almost 100 spots in KenPom in less than a month. They are the hottest team in the Colonial in February. They continue to be. Drexel is the top-rated KenPom team currently. Their offense is awesome, but I'm just going from the fun perspective here, Jim. I want Elon to win. They've never made a tournament. They joined D1 in 2000, so it hasn't been like 100 years. But they're on fire. Shragi can coach. I'm going for Elon here. I hope they not only cover +3, but win outright.
Yeah, I would love that. I have my 30-1 Elon future. I saw Dan Gorzicki in the chat asked about hedging his 32-1 future. I would hedge a little bit. I mean, you want to at least get some profit out of it, but I like keeping most of my bet on the particular team that I bet on because they're the horse that brought me here. So I will probably just mostly leave that future alone. In terms of matchup, yeah, Matt, this is another one where the two have not seen each other all year. Elon runs that really complicated motion offense. It's tough to defend if you don't have a lot of time to prep, which obviously Drexel does not. I like Elon, a little worried about legs, but I think this is a pretty solid team. As long as they can compete on the glass, Drexel has some size inside, then I kind of like the Phoenix +3.5.
Yeah, I see it actually at 4.5 in some places right now. I'm hoping it climbs to 5. Maybe I need to refresh my odds page here. SPRodds.com, folks. Remember to always have that up. I'm looking, Jim. I'm looking to join you if it hits 5. I think like I mentioned in the intro, the matchup edge for two teams who have not played each other definitely leans toward Elon. Just a tougher system to prepare for. Drexel's more of a ball screen centric type of offense that you just need to be able to defend, solid drivers and good players, not exactly a system based scoring attack. So I like Elon there from that value. I don't really get the early money coming on Drexel, and they have been awesome so far. So maybe I'm just not giving them the respect they deserve, but would certainly would lean Elon against the early steam, akin to Ky's Mount St. Mary's take on Bryant. All right, moving right along. Next game, Oakland versus Cleveland State, the Horizon Championship. The Vikings, Jim, Dennis Gates, they have been the darling of this conference all year. They just seem to win a million games that are, coin flips. And that part of that is, you could chalk it up to luck, but I think Dennis Gates is a phenomenal late game X and O tactician. On the other side, though, Greg Kampe, a guy who's really won me over the last year and a half. I've been on the Grizz pretty much every game this season and last year, what seems like. I'm going back to the well tonight. Just a quick teaser. Where do you stand?
I thought you were going to give a little more of a pick there, but all right.
I think the people know I just love Oakland unconditionally, so I don't feel like I don't even need my matchup analysis taker. Just bet Oakland, folks.
I'm laughing that we talked about how Cleveland State is first in the country in luck, and yesterday they were down like 5 with a minute and a half left and ended up winning by 6. Like they have that turbo at the end of games. Their defense is really solid. They got a couple runouts off of missed shots that was massively beneficial to them. They play solid defense. I'm concerned about Cleveland State against a zone. In Oakland zone looked better last night. We started the season making fun of that terrible zone, but they extended. They looked more engaged at the top of the pressure. They were like bothering Northern Kentucky's guards, getting in passing lanes, which is not something we've seen. I feel like it's been more of a soft zone up until this point. So if Oakland's actually going to play a little defense like that, now they get Rashad Williams healthy, as he was barely playing in the first two meetings between these two, I would lean towards Oakland.
Yeah, Jim, you talked about Cleveland State's luck. 17% win probability actually at one point against Milwaukee yesterday, down by 11 with less than 10 to play. Huge comeback. Guys, both stories are awesome to these teams. Oakland started 0-9 this season. They were down to 312th in KenPom. We wrote them off saying they're terrible, one of the worst teams in the country. Cleveland State, rags to riches story under Dennis Gates. Just a hopeless program not 2 years ago. And now he has them on the brink of an NCAA tournament. Yep. I love both angles here. I think Cleveland State is the way I'm actually going to lean here on a short spread. Neither team's going to stop the other. Cleveland State is up 2-0 this season on Oakland. I don't really believe in the adage of the 3 times thing, whatever you want to call it. Each matchup's individually distinct. I just think Cleveland State's size here, Matt, is going to be the real factor. So I would lean towards that way. Although I hope you win your best bet.
Thank you. Those 2 games which they played regular season, Rashad Williams missed the first, only played 11 minutes in the second. Mm-hmm. He's like the key zone buster that is critical to have, especially against Cleveland State. I mean, Oakland's a pretty top-heavy roster as is. There's really 3 guys who can score, and Rashad Williams is like part of that top 2 1-2 punch with him and Jalen Moore. He's fully healthy. He looked awesome last night, getting buckets and runouts, open threes, picking his spots against the zone. I think he continues that tonight. I just feel confident in my Grizz, man. I think it's been a weird season, and Greg Campy and the boys have benefited from getting so many more games than a lot of their comrades in the horizon with their scheduling non-conference and then staying safe throughout the season. So they have that continuity, that momentum kind of built up that I like too. All right, one more game here, and we'll get to the chat mob inquiries. The Summit, fresh off a barn burner last night in the Pentagon. Oral Roberts versus North Dakota State. Oral Bob stuns the Jack Bunnies on a buzzer beater tip-in. They are riding an emotional high, catching the Bisons, who have quietly been ho-humming along here down the stretch here, Jim. What do you like here in tonight's Summit Showdown?
First, Matt, I don't think you ever really came out and said it. Oakland is your best bet. You can get plus 2.5 if you'd like it.
So, yeah, I would like it. I'm sorry. 2.5 best bet. Thank you, Jim. I was going to read it at the end, but that's correct. And get it now before it goes down to 2. Yeah, we have had some line value creep away from us, so probably good to solidify that early in the show.
Yep. So I'm intrigued by this one. I would like to see Oral Roberts win because the scoring duo of Max Asmus and Kevin O'Banner is just delightful. Yeah. They play a 7-man rotation, and all 7 guys will shoot threes, like more than 1 or 2 a game. They will fire away. But I was really impressed with North Dakota State's comeback last night against South Dakota. Just 3 guys, basically, Tyree Edey, Sam Griesel, and Rocky Cruiser, just dominating the paint. They're big. They're going to dominate the glass here. Like it might be ugly. Yesterday, Oral Roberts got out rebounded 40-21. It could be that bad or even worse today against a massive North Dakota State team. So I lean towards Dave Richmond and the Bison after they've won this event 2 years in a row with that trio that I mentioned playing big roles. I would probably lean towards the Bison here, once again winning this event for the 3rd time running, Ky.
Yeah, awesome game yesterday with Oral Bob beating the Jack Bunnies in dramatic fashion. Yes, Jim, Asmus would be awesome to see in the tournament. I agree. Nation's leading scorer. North Dakota State's just one of these teams that just wins ugly. They win Summit Championships. 3rd straight year they're in the Summit Championship here under Dave Richmond. Best offensive rebounding team in the league versus the worst defensive rebounding team in the league in Oral Roberts. I kind of lean towards Oral Roberts, Matt, just from my will. I want to see Oral Roberts in the tournament, but I do think North Dakota State, the less sexy pick here, is the way I'm going to officially lean towards.
Yeah, I don't really have a strong taker. It's probably like my least confident, the game I have the worst feel for of any of these championship games today. I just don't really know what you see here too. Again, similar to the Bryant Mount St. Mary's thing, pretty stark stylistic clash. The Bison with the size, or Roberts with scoring and speed and shooting specifically. So we'll see how that plays out. No takes for me on this one. Let's get to chat mob questions. They're waiting. They're hungry, even though I guess most of the games you already have on the outline. But I did not appoint a czar. Jim, I'm going to assume that you took the reins, or did Ky step up today?
I told you right before the show I was going to be Mr. Czar. All right. we've got plenty of questions. We'll start with the early tip. Miami, Florida, and Pittsburgh in the ACC. A lot of back and forth in the chat on this one. I think there's some Pitt leaners, some Miami guys. Matt, I'll start with you. What do you any lean on this one?
Hands up. I mean, both rosters have been musical chairs type thing all season. I just don't know what the motivation is for either team. Obviously, they're trying to get to the tournament. Yeah, I get that. But just like where the headspace of all the guys who've been in and out of the lineup, transfers on Pitt's side, injuries on Miami's side, Ky, this is the hardest of stayaways.
I lean Miami just because Pitt's lost all those guys, but who knows in this one. I'm excuse me. I'm done betting Miami or betting against Miami since 2 months ago.
I agree.
Yeah, I kind of lean Miami here. They've had this iteration of a shorthanded roster for longer than Pitt has. And maybe this is kind of the last time I'll say I trust Jim Larrañaga as a coach. If he can't take down a mega shorthanded Pitt coached by Jeff Capel, then I will start to fear for him, but lean towards Miami here. All right, let's go the opener in Conference USA. Supposed to be 2 games today, but FIU has COVID, so Middle Tennessee advances. That leaves us Rice for Southern Miss. You're our Conference USA dude. Anything on this one?
Number-wise, I lean Southern Miss. It's like 4.5. That seems pretty high to me, but I don't really trust this team at all. I like their coach. I like some of their players, Tay Hardy, for instance, Matthew, but I could not stay farther away from this game.
I lean Rice. Super talented team, major injury issues all season. They got Chris Mullins back in the fold now. I think they're a great buy low. Team definitely capable of making a run. Can shoot it from everywhere. 5 shooters on the floor at all times. So fun offense.
Yeah, I'm a lean towards Rice there. I'm not going to officially take it though. All right, let's hit the double in the Big West, guys. This tourney's tipping off. Matt, I know that is your territory. We'll start with Cal State Northridge, our CSUN boys against the Beach. Man, I think these two teams are both so erratic.
Yes.
The Beach just kicked Michael Carter off the team in the final week of the season. Yeah. So I don't know what to do with these two.
Every time you read a Long Beach State article with Dan Monson being quoted, he's just like, I'm so over this year. I'm done with this. They had 2 opt-outs preseason, and they had 2 guys come back. That's on top of all the injuries they had throughout the year. Now you have the Michael Carter thing. CSUN's had their fair share of, guys in and out of the lineup all season. It feels like a Miami Pitt situation. I just don't know where these teams stand mentally, given all that's happened this year within those programs. So this, again, hard stay away, Ky.
Yeah, I have no opinion.
Yeah, the other one, Ky, anything on Fullerton, Cal Poly? I mean, Poly's been run out by most of the bigger size teams in this conference, but that's not really Fullerton. They're not Irvine. They're not Riverside. So I think Poly could maybe compete here. But, yeah, again, I don't have a lot of Big West takes, unfortunately.
Slight number lean to Poly, but I don't trust it at all.
Yeah, same. I can't bet on Poly right now. No way.
Matt, John Castro wants to know about Manhattan and Fairfield in the MAC. Yeah, so tell him about it.
I'm going to bet Manhattan tonight. I feel like Manhattan is also in that Oakland batch of teams I just continue to blindly bet. I probably have just had overrated or just higher rated than the market all season. 2 teams just played last weekend. Manhattan won the first one. Fairfield blew them out in the second one. I'm betting on a pendulum swinging back the other direction. Give me the Jaspers -1.5. I'll make that an official show play.
Wow, look at you.
Might be 2 now.
2, that's fine. 2 is my cutoff, so I will take 2.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2. Go Jaspers for you. Fairfield, I started to maybe get a little bit more competent towards the end of the year, but I would lean hard towards Manhattan with you, Matt. I think that team's just a little better. They got more talent on the roster.
Yeah, it's bad offense versus a anemic offense, so I'm right with the bad offense.
Yeah, you want to talk bad versus bad, boys. How about Retired at 40 asking about Houston Baptist and Incarnate Word, 2 just despicable teams in the Southland, unfortunately. Houston Baptist rolled over and laid down and died in their final game of the regular season. Somehow got blown out by Corpus Christi, a team who was done for the season. That was disturbing. But then Incarnate Word is ravaged by injuries. We don't know if Keaston Willis, the leading scorer in the conference, is going to play. This is the hardest of stayaways without knowing any of the Incarnate Word health questions.
Yeah, I'm leaning Houston Baptist. Matt, also, Fairfield's offense is better than Manhattan's.
Is it actually for the numbers? Oh, I'm not buying that. I don't buy that.
By quite a bit, actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm I don't agree, Ken Pom. I don't agree, Mr. Pomeroy. I disagree.
I feel like I've watched both teams. They both suck. Houston Baptist lean, Jim. Nothing strong at all in that game.
Also, right, Jim, Incarnate Word might be without Brandon Swaby and Marcus Larson, their big guy. Like, best shooter and best big guy on top of leading scorer. You have to know those guys are playing before you bet in Cartwright. Just a word of caution there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with the injuries. I didn't feel like bogging down in all the names.
No, I want names.
Good detail.
Specifics.
Good attention to
People
detail.
Are taking notes about rosters. They need to know this.
I respect it. I'm glad you got into the weeds for them. The other one in the Southland, we'll just hit. Jeff Sharp mentioned, does a Southeastern Louisiana game ever not go over? They've got McNeese State today. The total 145. I would probably lean over between these two teams, to be honest. They're both going to.
Yeah, I like over. McNeese State plays no defense, do they? Joe, I'm in on that too. Just sort of off the cuff. I like over.
Yeah. All right. I think that is it for the chat for now. If I missed any, I will get them at the end of the show. Let's get back to the outline, Matthew.
Back to the outline we go. WCC title game. We're talking zigzags, baby, against BYU, the Storm and Mormons. A game I believe we broke down both of the two regular season matchups on our show throughout the season. We like the Zags in both. We just, the whole narrative I think we keep regurgitating, which is accurate. We saw it play out last night. Ky, motivated Zags equals best version of Zags, and best version of Zags equals covers. It's kind of the formula, the flow chart I want to paint for the audience here. Tell us why we should not be on the Zags tonight.
Well, what angle do you want? Do you want 14 points in a championship game? BYU could actually keep this one pretty close. Mark Pope is going to be amped for this game. BYU is going to be amped. They're coming off that overtime game. That's got to scare you a little bit. The two games against Gonzaga this year, 11 points and 17 points. That 11-point game is misleading. Gonzaga was up 22. Yeah. It was never close in that game. Jim, I wouldn't be surprised, to Matt's point, if Gonzaga reminds us all why they're the unanimous favorite to capture the national title, why they're so dominant. But the other angle is, of course, BYU could be just scrappy.
Yeah, I'm going to take Gonzaga first half here. I know that might be kind of like a spinny, popular type of public play, but I'm going with it. They were up 23 and 11 in the two halftimes between these two. I think it's -7.5 still. Yeah, -7.5. Gonzaga first half. BYU is feisty, and obviously they're gonna not go away in this one. So the full game spread scares me a little bit. That's what happened in the game at BYU. They came back and cut it to 9 with 4 seconds left, but for some reason fouled. So Gonzaga ended up getting the push, and it landed 11. But this one, I'm going to go first half here. I think Gonzaga engaged. They come out locked in, and BYU off that overtime game. Like you mentioned, Ky, there might be a little bit of a fatigue effect. So, Zags first half -7.5 for me.
Jim, I should probably join you. I was just on the Zags when they played in BYU. The line closed 11. This one's up to 13.5, 14, depending where you look. So that's, you just basically bake in the 2.5, 3 points of home. It's basically the line's pretty accurate for what it was. So I'm trying to talk myself into it off the cuff to join you here. The one concern I do have for BYU's, I guess from a BYU perspective, devil's advocate take, is that they turned the ball over a ton in that last game. I think they're going to be smarter with the ball, and it helps them keep it a little closer. But again, I just have no appetite to bet against the Zags, so I won't. All right, next game here. Let's get through this one quickly. I don't really have any appetite to talk Duke basketball right now. But they are playing Boston College in the play-in round of the ACC tournament, a sentence I never thought I would say in my lifetime. Ky, Boston College, I mean, it feels like a zombie team. They just fired their head coach, and who is playing today remains a mystery to me. Duke has the desperation. Do they make a run and squeak in the NCAA tournament angle going for them? I'm not buying into that all the way based on the egg they just laid against North Carolina over the weekend. So I don't know. What are you seeing here?
Well, BC's been semi-competitive despite everyone they've lost. They beat Notre Dame. True. Stephon Mitchell did play that game. He's probably out in this one. They almost beat Miami with this exact same roster. I don't know how much credit you give them for that. Florida State blew them out, but that's Florida State. Duke's obviously eager to win here. They kind of have to win the tournament, I think, to get into the dance. There might be some implications other ways, but I think that's what they need to do. But, Jim, I think they kind of take BC lightly. I think they know how ravaged they are. They know they're a double-digit spread. They know they have Virginia on the horizon here. It's just hard to cap how BC will play at 13 points. That's a ton. I would actually lean towards the Eagles here. Not strong at all, though.
Yeah, I think Duke crushes them, but it's just too high of a number based on what I made it to endorse that. So, gut lean towards Duke playing well off that North Carolina loss, but nothing strong enough to take it, especially against a high number like this, Matt.
Yeah, I could see Duke running them out, right? This could be a 20, 25 point blowout, but I just don't have any confidence in that. And there's no reason to lay these, right? There's plenty of other action on the board. I will hone my focus in there. And let's move on to MAC Shin. The MAC opening round begins this evening. I guess no, it's technically the second round. Iona versus Quinnipiac. Jim, Iona probably the most screwed team by conference seeding whatever, however you want to call it. The fact that the Gales are where they are in the bracket is just downright unfair. On top of that, they are coming off a COVID pause. I do think the line, the opener at least at -6, was a little bit low. I made this closer to 8. Do you think the Gales have some value here, or are you worried about the COVID pause rust?
That's exactly it. I would take -6 if they were not out of a shutdown, and perhaps that's why it is -6. But Quinnipiac beat them once already this season. I was pretty surprised by that game. I think we all kind of were.
Yeah.
Quinnipiac was very competent offensively, frustrated Iona defensively. Iona really, they couldn't score inside. The Seth Pinckney effect was really was real in that one. He's a shot blocking beast for Quinnipiac. So I lean Iona, but I kind of want to see them out of the shutdown first. So stay away from me here.
I'd first like to point out the MAC is the worst seeding conference
it's
ever.
Stupid. It's stupid.
It makes no sense. Iona's 6-3 in the league, and they're the 9 seed in the MAC because they went by total wins to seed this conference.
But Canisius and Niagara had the same number of total wins, 7, and the 7-9 team got a bye, and the 7-5 team had to lose outright yesterday to Ryder.
Yeah, it's completely asinine. So I mean, that's just an aside here. Yeah, Iona hasn't played since February 20th. Jim mentioned Quinnipiac actually beat Iona. Iona turned the ball over a ton. Quinny shot 25 free throws that game. Maybe a little home cooking in that one. That's what I'll chalk it up to, Matt. I think Pitino has Iona more prepared here. I mean, they're the much, much, much more talented team. They have the best 2 or 3 players on the floor, I think. So I would lean towards Iona. Spread's a little high for me to make it official.
Yeah, Quinnipiac's been gotten a boost from freshman point guard Lewis Courtnight. He's been highly erratic. I've seen him play awesome and completely take over a game, but I've also seen him turn the ball over on 5 straight possessions against Canisius and lose them the game. I think the latter could show up here against the Gales' pressure. Rick Pitino, obviously a great divisor and tactician. I got to think he smells blood in the water and goes after that potential that matchup advantage there. So lean Gales, but again, the COVID shutdown thing has me worried, as the boys mentioned. All right, let's get to picks and then one final round of chat mob questions. Ky, start us off.
Just want to say that per the chat, Quinnipiac is a total lock, so please go take out all of the money in your bank account and bet on Quinnipiac -6. Put your mortgage on it. I'm not, but good luck.
You know what? I'll trust the chat. I'll put a little bit on Quinnipiac on the side. Not official show play, but I just want to come back and be able to rant at the chat if they're wrong about this one. I just want that. I want that in my back pocket.
That'd be a nice tables turn thing.
How the tables have turned indeed. Who do you like tonight?
Mount St. Mary's, guys, was my best bet at the top of the show. It was +7 at the top of the show. I'm keeping that line. Although I do think +6.5, if that's what it's gone down to, is a fine play.
By the hook?
Maybe small at 6. I don't know. I don't know if I'd go quite that far.
I'm still seeing a couple 7s out there, Ky.
Well, 7. Mount St. Mary's. Hope Bryant wins, though, for the tournament's sake. Jim.
My best bet was Gonzaga first half -7.5. I think they come out locked in. BYU a little worn down from the overtime game. A little afraid of full game because BYU is feisty, but I'm not going to take that. So, Matt, what was your best bet?
Oakland, best bet, 2.5. Mr. Greg Campy, continue to ride the wave. I just trust in him. He knows what he's doing there. And then also, Manhattan, the close your eyes bet. Don't need to watch this one. You can go do whatever errands you need to do while this game's going on. It will be ugly. And Manhattan has the ability to make you want to throw your TV out a window on offense. But I do think they are better than Fairfield, despite what Ky said, that the numbers disagree with that notion. All right, to the chat we go. Jim, let's go through them. Not much left on the slate, is there?
There's only one game we have not hit yet.
One game. Okay.
That is Wake Forest and Notre Dame in the ACC. Guys, I think this line's a little too high.
It's too high.
I was surprised to see Notre Dame this big a favorite. They were fantastic to end the season. I mean, just basically ran out Florida State. What a performance there. But Wake Forest, 8-point dogs. Steve Forbes in a tournament setting. I kind of think they're feisty and hang around here.
Yep, I lean Wake as well.
Official show play for me. I'll add it right now. 8. Was it 8.5?
Byron, maybe.
Yep, done. 8. It's too high.
Yep,
I agree. Maybe just line like 5. I think 8's ridiculous.
Oh, there he is. Ridiculous, he says, folks.
The arrogance just permeating, I know.
Wake Forest was really bad down the stretch.
Horrible.
Their offense was completely incompetent, but it's not like Notre Dame's defense is going to totally shut them down. So, yeah, I think that's a solid play, Matt. I'm going to keep it to just my best bet, though. So, all right,
love it.
We have hit every game. If you did not hear it, it is in the show. So definitely go back in and check the replay. Matt, I'll let you close it down.
Yeah, again, folks, line shopping is what we always recommend, and do so at sbrodds.com. Always have that page open on your left browser, tablet, phone, what have you. A very handy dandy tool. Again, the SBR picks / NCAAB right above us. Always navigate to that. Check out the content. Great stuff there. We will come back tomorrow, same time as usual, 9 a.m. Central. Until then, good luck tonight.